swing and I swing and I swing to the left. What's going on, PB Nation? Y'all know what it is. It's your boy, Lionel Mosby Jr., class of 2009. And we back in the building for another episode of PV versus everybody. And hey, listen, this is an exciting week. We got basketball going. We got football going. We got volleyball going. Listen, it's an exciting time for PV Athletics. We had a AD sighting, you know what I'm saying? We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So I hope you guys are doing good. If you're jumping on for the first time, if it's your first time coming through for the PV versus everybody live show, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you leave some comments and share it with PV Nation and let them know we got a place that's all our own. Where, like I always say, we're not the side dish, not the side conversation. We are the main thing, right? Everything here is about PV AMU. So, with that being said, man, we got a couple interesting segments today. Got 6 segments total. So we're gonna do a little game recap on the UAPB game. You know, talk about the homecoming Kingz. You know what I'm saying, coming through and getting a win. PV Nation. We got a special PV fantasy this week. Very special PV fantasy this week. So y'all make sure y'all locked in for that segment. We're gonna talk about the Southern game coming up, right? You know, see if we can get over this hump. I mean, last year we all know that debacle. I mean, all of the fight we had was pre-game, nothing for the game. So we're gonna talk about that as well. Got the men's first game. First game just went down, Kansas Christian College on Monday. We're going to talk a little about that, a little bit about what I saw. Got 20 questions, of course. We're talking women's volleyball. But we got some, before we get into it, we got something special this week. You know what I'm saying? As you see across the ticker, you know what I'm saying? If you are interested in calling in to the show, trying something new this week, so you see the number down below, 346-306-2017. If you're interested in calling into the show and talking a little bit about PV Nation, whatever sport, whatever it may be, you can go ahead and do that, right? You know what I'm saying? So hopefully it's first time we're doing this. So hopefully it works. Hopefully all of the technology is together, but we're going to see. We're going to see when we get it done. But we're going to start off. Listen, we always start off with good news. We always start off with winners. And so that means we got to start with none other than Coach Lindsay and this Lady Panther Volleyball team. Listen, 17-12 record on the year, 12-3 in conference. Again, only losses to Alabama State, FAM, and Jackson State. Again, these are 3 top teams. I mean, if you look at the SWAC all-time champions for the past 20 years, right? These are the only names you're going to see, all right? These are the only schools that you're going to be witnessing in that position. And so this is not the end of the world, because this shows that we are right there in year one for Coach Lindsay and the Lady Panthers. And so they had a successful last 2 games. 2 broom sessions, straight broom sessions the last 2 games. 3-0 sweep against Southern, 3-0 sweep against Alcorn State, 25-15, 25-13, and 25-18 set against Alcorn State. Took care of them in straight sets. Then they got Southern with the 25-15 and 2 25-18s. So listen, straight set winners. That's great going into the last game they got coming up against Texas Southern. Of course, the rivalry game, saving it for last. It is the last game of the season, and it is a blackout game on this Friday. So make sure you are in the building for that. But I got a shout out to Miss Bailey Hewitt this week, right? For our player of the week, Miss Bailey Hewitt has popped out on us. 25 kills over these last 2 games and 4 blocks in both of those games as well. And so we got to tip our hat off to her because she definitely showed out against Southern and Alcorn State. Of course, the usuals are always there. Miss Leah Lawson, again, killing it with the assist game. Kylie Owens and Janiyah Henderson are always having a game. But this week, I got to tip my hat to Bailey Hewitt and give her the player of the week for these past 2 games. And so I'm super excited about the Lady Panthers going into the last game of the season against Texas Southern, like I said, November 10th, 2 days from now. And then a SWAC tournament starts next week. All right? SWAC tournament action starts next week in Prairie View, Texas. So listen, PV Nation, students, fam, listen. Make sure your face is in the place. If you are able, make sure you're there to show your support for the Lady Panthers, because this is an opportunity here. It's an opportunity to take advantage. You know, one of the awesome things that we've seen is that, listen, when it comes to these Olympic sports, the SWAC office is looking at PV as a destination to hold these championship games at because of the facilities that we have here. And since that is what they're doing, we need to take advantage and make all of these home field advantages and give our ladies, give our men a chance, right? Because of that crowd support to get over the hump and win these championships. And this is a team that has the ability to do this, right? Again, right now sitting at number 2 in SWAC conference play overall. So they have a tremendous opportunity to get it done. Why not put that support behind them and completely just make every game a home game? Every game a home game for the Lady Panthers. It's an opportunity. We have the ability to do that. And so I hope the university will put some emphasis behind this upcoming week. It's not football, it's not basketball, but it's a great opportunity to get the students out to the game, right? Because you got to think about SWAC volleyball. How many times do these ladies get to play in front of 500, 600, 1,000, 1,500 people? It's probably not often, right? So if you can add that crowd support and put that pressure on some of these teams that are coming in here, you never know. Pressure bust pipes, right? And hopefully gives our ladies an extra edge, right? And add some fuel to the fire. Again, I love how this team has heart within themselves, though, and takes what they have, right, and just builds that fire from within. But I know if we can support and ignite around them, I mean, it's just going to be amazing. So this is a great opportunity, again, for PV Nation to show the support. Houston fam, you know what I'm saying? Even Dallas fam, it's on a weekend. You can make it down for this weekend. Definitely do so and put your support behind the Lady Panthers. As soon as the schedule pops out next week on our live, of course, I'll be sharing that so you'll know specifically when the Lady Panthers are going to be playing at every step along the way. Because, listen, they don't get it done. So we're going to let y'all know when they'll be showing up. So with that being said, man, let's get into this football recap from this last game, homecoming game against UAPB. It was definitely another game like we talked about before. It definitely showed to be another Mississippi Valley style game, which is great, right? Happy for that. Now, Valley didn't help and didn't benefit at all when it came to playing against FAMU, but we'll take it, right? Again, seeing what happened last year against Valley at the end of the season, every win, you got to take the win, all right? So happy that they went in and got the job done. Happy they didn't let the homecoming festivities and all of the environment take them away from what it is that they had to go in and do. I love Juice's comment on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. It don't matter, right? You know what I'm saying? I love this comment, though. Listen, I don't care about homecoming. I care about getting this win, right? And so I hope that sentiment from him as one of the leaders of the team, you know, fueled some of the other players, right? Because that's the mentality you need when you in the thick of a race that this team is still in, because they're not out of it, even though the belief has been sucked out of much of PV Nation The reality is this team still has a shot, still has a chance to get to the SWAC championship game to win the SWAC West. Crazier things have happened, and so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Alcorn could lose to a Texas Southern on a Sunday, on a day that it's not usual, right? Schedule that's not going to be usual or typical for either one of those teams playing a Sunday game. You also got a Jackson State for Alcorn, the last game of the season, obviously a rivalry game. So Alcorn obviously could drop one of the last two games, but then the Panthers have to get the job done, right? Grambling has already lost 3 games. They lost to Alabama State. They're out of the running, right? The team that wins the SWAC West will have 2 losses. And so we're going to see what happens, right? But 38-14 win. Let's talk about something good. One, we won the turnover battle. I think this is the first time all season we have won the turnover battle. We've had one game that we were even, but this was one game where we actually won the turnover battle. That doesn't happen often. And so, again, happy that, this team was able to, get some turnovers. Obviously, the one big one, the big return for 52 yards from Seatbelt was a big play. But, didn't turn the ball over on offense. And so that's a big thing. Didn't put the ball on the ground. Conley didn't throw the ball away. Hey, we good there. A-okay. Number 2, and this is a big one, playmakers got the ball. Playmakers got the ball. Listen, Megatron Jr., that Samar Savage is Megatron Jr. Listen, it takes everybody to get this man down. And this is not something that's just happened this one game, right? I mean, in multiple games throughout this season, we've seen him take a screen pass, 10 yards for a first down. Another game, screen pass, 10 yards for first down. After a first contact, right? These are yards after catch, yards after contact. And so in this game, we saw the same thing where it takes, 2-3 individuals to get this man on the ground. He is a beast. Samar Savage is a guy who has the ability to be what Keyshawn Johnson is for Alabama State. As across the board. I think, and listen, I just got my opinion, right? But I think Samar Savage, with his size, with his ability to go after and go up and get the ball, has the ability to play at the next level. And I think he has the ability to be the best, if not one of the best receivers in the SWAC, a la what we see from Keyshawn Johnson and Alabama State. I think that's hands down, right? The problem is he's only got 16 receptions in 9 games. That's unacceptable, right? I mean, he can't throw himself the ball, right? He can't scheme himself the ball, though, right? Keyshawn Johnson, it would be impossible for Alabama State to not get that man the ball. And you see what he does when he gets the ball. We have one. I know this is not. I know we're talking about the good, but I have to take this tangent. We have one receiver with over 20 receptions this year. Only one receiver. 21 receptions for Trayshawn Spiller. Juice Jenkins, Bloomfield, Samar Savage, all with less than 20 receptions. No, that is unacceptable. And my thing is, when has Juice touched the ball that there's never yards after catch? Never. It never happens. Every game we see him get the ball, he turns nothing into something. Every time Samar Savage touches the ball, he turns nothing into something. He's going to get, if you throw him a 3-yard hitch, a 5-yard hitch, he's going to get 8 to 10 yards. When have you seen him not get it, right? If you throw Juice a screen 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, he's going to get 5 to 10 yards minimally, right? I mean, really, he's going to get 20 to 30 yards, right? At what point are we going to realize that we just got to get the ball in playmakers' hands? We just got to get the supposed to be talking about the good, and see that's why my camera probably went out, because we're supposed to be talking about the good. So let me get back focused. Back focused. Yeah, we look like a more complete team. I agree completely, Isaiah. Right? Elvin, I would love to see them move him around a little more. He's listen, Megatron Jr. Shamar Savage is Megatron Jr., yo. That's his name. Put it on a t-shirt. Somebody create an NIL deal for this man, Megatron Jr., all right? Because he's that guy. Juice is that guy. And they need to get them the ball more often. But I think it's a product, again, our play design. We create plays that have to go downfield, and that's just a part of the problem. We don't need, with the playmakers we don't need to have every play go down the field. And as a matter of fact, if we would take the hitch, if we would take the slant, if we would take the screen, we're gonna make the defense creep up, and then we can throw the ball over top like we want to so much, right? But just get the ball in your playmakers' hands. We have the playmakers. Again, we're talking about the good. Let me get back focused. All right, listen. The defense only gave up 1 yard passing. And I don't care if it's UAPB. Because this is also the same team that gave up over 250 to Mississippi Valley, right? Who was averaging less than 200 a game. So for this defense and for this secondary to give up one, that is mind-blowing. That's mind-blowing. But it also shows, I know we're still talking about the good, but y'all gotta let me live, all right? It also shows the inconsistency of the team. Which team are we? Who are we? Are we the UAPB team? Are we the FAMU team? Are we the Valley team? Are we the HCU team? I have no idea. Like, what is going on? We're too up and down. But I'm happy, and look, I can't say nothing about the defense. They did their thing, right? They did their thing completely. 1 yard passing. I don't care who you're playing against. To only give up 1 yard passing is just crazy. And so you got to tip your hat out to that. And them boys did their thing. They balled out from the jump with Keyshawn Johnson, putting that running back on his back. They were playing. They were flying to the ball. And listen, my opinion is, and that's why I say I always continue to lean on the issue has been with the offense, is if the defense is not on the field as much as they are, when I just look at the defense over the last 4 or 5 games, I believe, the defense, especially the front seven, we're definitely getting better, right? But they're on the field all the time because the offense is moving the ball. They aren't keeping drives going. So that's why I continue to put it on the offense, right? Because if the defense is on the field less, I think they play way better games. I think they give up way less points, right? So anyway, let's keep it going, right? The defense definitely balled out, you know what I'm saying? And they definitely look much improved, I agree. So for the next 2 games, we have to be less predictable in our offensive play calling, much more creative. It will throw teams off and give us comfortable leads we can sustain early in the game. Completely agree with that, right? All we got to do, we just need to be simple, right? Be simple. Get the ball to the playmakers. Let them make plays. Listen, you got juice. Listen, just take the eat. We try to get the ball down the field too much. We got the players to do it, but it's like you and your wife, right? You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord has blessed you with a wife, and you're trying to hurry up and get to the final destination, but you haven't warmed the oven up. That's what we do. That's what we are as a football team. We're trying to take these deep long shots, but we haven't warmed the defense up yet. Like we gotta prime them and get them ready, right? Yeah, y'all get what I'm saying. This is a you know what I'm saying, PG show, you feel me? But y'all get what I'm saying. All right. So the most refreshing thing about defense was the tackling. Yeah, they did do a better job tackling, but I also did see some tackling, right? I did see a couple missed tackles. And the other thing is, I say 9 penalties for 80 yards. We had a return from Juice Jenkins that I still am kind of like, I don't know what the penalty is, but we got returned. I mean, great play from him, great return, great blocking. I ain't really see it, but hey, so if you add that touchdown, I mean, we still scored the touchdown in the first drive, but that Metcalf catch was crazy, that one-handed catch. We should have scored at the end of the game. I have no idea why we throw that shovel pass instead of just running the end zone. So we definitely should have scored over 40 points this game, but we'll take the win, right? So when we talk about players of the game, I got to give it to Savage, 8 receptions, 136 yards. Again, the most receptions of any receiver this year. in one game, the most yards for any receiver this year in one game. So I got to give it up to Megatron Jr. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm nicknaming him from now on, Megatron Jr. And then we got Seatbelt himself with the interception return for a touchdown. Great read, great play on the ball, great timing. He did his thing, return for a touchdown. So looked super good in this game. DBs definitely looked really good in this game. They got their hands on receivers, didn't let them get out there. Their breaks is easy. So listen, they did a great job defensive-wise. So they're the players of the game. So we talk about the schedule again. We know what it is. 2 games left. Got a game in Southern, in Baton Rouge, Montford Stadium, Southern. Got to win it. Then we come back home, Alabama State, the week after. We got to have it. Got to have both of them, right? If we're going to have a shot. If this is the team that's going to play the last 2 games, I like our shot against FAMU. If this is going to be the team, we're going to be the rest of the season. But that's going to depend, right? You know what I'm saying? That's gonna definitely depend. The most refreshing thing about the defense was the tackling. He said everything is a deep shot, but intermediate passes are always open. In return, Conley holds onto the ball too long and takes sacks. I agree, right? And that's what my issue is, right? When we look at the personnel and we look at what we want to do, we want to and we want to take deep shots, and we have the personnel to take deep shots, right? But if we would throw the short and intermediate plays, if we would run the short immediate plays and get the playmakers the ball, it would put the defense in a position where we can take the deep shots. That's my issue, right? Is we're not preparing the defense for what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I feel like our issue is. We're not. That's my issue, man. So Savage reminds him of DK Metcalf. Hey, listen, man, that guy's a baller. I think Savage has the ability to play at the next level. If we just give him the ball, he gonna get his own numbers. All right, he'll get his own numbers. Because again, this guy is a Keyshawn Johnson. He is on that level with a Keyshawn Johnson, right? He should be in the same conversation with that guy who's at the top of the SWAC right now. But we don't use him and we don't give him the ball like Alabama State does. Alabama State had no quarterback for the first however many games of the season, yet they still got Keyshawn Johnson the ball. He still was getting 6-7 catches a game, probably 10 targets a game, though, right? They got him the ball. If we do the same thing with a Savage, with a Jenkins, completely different story, I think, throughout this whole season. And yeah, that one-hand catch was crazy, right? We're going to talk about that in our 20 questions. But anyway, let's get to it real quick. Let's do a quick recap. Bethune-Cookman, of course, gets the win, 27 on the Valley. They get a conference win. Congratulations. Florida A&M, 42-28 against Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M was up in that game in the third quarter. So, great game there. Of course, Florida A&M is a great second-half team. So they put their foot on the pedal and ran away from Alabama A&M. Of course, we know the debacle that happened in Lorman, 44-21. Man, that was a butt whooping. 44-21, Alabama, Alcorn State over Southern. Jackson State, 21. Wrong score there, 21-19. 21-19. Jackson State over Texas Southern. Texas Southern came back in that game, was down early, 21-6. Came back in that game, had a chance at the end, couldn't get the 2-point conversion. And then Alabama State 21-6 over crazy. 6 points for Grambling. They're regressing a little bit from the offensive end. We talked about it way early in the season that we all thought Grambling was going to drop some games. They did. I mean, that loss to Grambling is just so big right now over us, right? It's so huge over us right now. If we'd have took care of that game, we would be in pole position right now. But again, we still got a shot. Things aren't completely gone. And so we're still there. We just got to keep pushing forward throughout the rest of the season. So looking at the standings right now, of course, Florida A&M has locked up the East. Got Jackson at 5-2, Alabama State at 4-2. They have a chance to finish second in the SWAC East. And again, I think that's an accomplishment that Eddie Robinson can hang his hat on to show improvement of that team, finding a quarterback too as well. So I think that's definitely a big thing for them. You got to take those steps in your program. And so for them to be able to finish ahead of Jackson, second to Florida A&M, I think that'd be a good thing. Now, for us, we don't want them to finish second because that finish second meaning they beat us at the end of the season. but for them, that would be an accomplishment. Again, look at the SWAC West, Alcorn, only 1 loss, Southern with 2 losses. That's why we wish Southern would have won that game, because even if Southern would have been 5-1, we still play them. And so basically everything is in our hands at that point, right? But we need a little help. But the games against Texas Southern and Jackson, Alcorn definitely has an opportunity to lose. And so this game coming up is going to be on Sunday. I'm going to be checking out that game. I was thinking about going to it. I think, maybe not, right? One of the Texas Southern linebackers actually attends my church. So definitely show support to that guy. Man, he's been playing awesome. But may go, may not sure yet. But I'll definitely be tuning in for sure, regardless, because that's the most important game of the week for us. Of course, Alabama A&M got Bethune-Cookman. You got Alabama State going to Valley. You got Grambling against UAPB. Grambling should take care of that game and get back in the win column. But for us, everything goes back to Alcorn and Texas Southern after we take care of business against Southern on Saturday. So, with that being said, let me see. FAMU can be beat. They definitely can. Yeah, we should have beat Grambling for sure. We definitely should have beat Grambling. Let me see. FAMU can be beat. We tied the game at 14-14 instead of throwing that pick. It's a completely different game for sure. Going in 14-7, kicking the field goal 14-10 or 14-14. Either way, completely different game than throwing that pick six, but throwing that pick. Them going up 21-7. Then they go down and score to come out the third quarter, and yeah, it was a wrap from there, right? So it was a wrap from there. So said D. Johnson, I'm pulling up to the TSU versus Alcorn game. I'm thinking about it too, man. It's gonna be space there because TSU ain't gonna be there. You feel me? So definitely gonna be space, pretty comfortable game. So I might pull up too, man. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, let's see. Let's get to this fantasy football, man. Now, this week was homecoming week, and so because it was homecoming week, we did something special for y'all, and we got a head-to-head matchup for PV Fantasy Football this week. You know what I'm saying? We coming in with a head-to-head matchup. We really didn't prepare the head-to-head matchup, of course, right? But because it was homecoming week and it was so busy, we only had 2 of our faithful PV versus everybody, supporters actually fill out for fantasy this week. So what we did was make it a head-to-head, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? So we got a head-to-head with Mr. Morgan K. Doucette going up against Mr. Richard Atiba. And we gonna see, man, we about to see what happened. And did Richard get that fantasy dub? Or did Mr. Morgan come in and get the job done? Well, let's get straight to it, man. Let's get straight to it in this week's segment of PV Fantasy Football.
Pass out to the near side. And this is court and a quick move. Charlie. And still down the sideline, moving inside. That's Brian Jenkins. Brian Jenkins, a grad student. Conley back to pass. Lets it go. Has it complete at the 35-yard line. And still going is Samar Savage. Savage must have been attacking. Bubba McDowell, head coach, really saying, I want to attack these guys. They're running it off the right side and running it inside territory. Air in on the ground on his opening drive. From the 14-yard line, back to pass, looking at the end zone. What a grab! It's a grab. Did they call it a touchdown? Yes! And it goes into the hands. It's complete. Or if it is, it's
so up in the air. What a great grab. You can't really see from that angle.
That right foot looked like it might have been inbound for Pine Bluff. He's back to pass on first down. Swing pass out of the backfield, and that came to Damon Dawkins, but he's in there. He's the left side of his quarterback who goes back to pass. Conley
going for it.
All the way into the end zone. A battle for the loose ball. And it's a caught for a touchdown, and it's Brian Jenkins. Oh, no, make that Spiller. At the 7th. Yeah. And the week before, they were shut out.
Going for it.
Houston Christian out there. And a catch is made by Samar Savage. He said the kids are still fighting and doing all that's asked of them. Picked. It is. Down the sideline.
That's easy money.
That'll be easy money. That time, on the return, coming up with it, DeJuan Lewis is Brooks. And it goes to the tight end, straight ahead, and that's David Murray. And a touchdown is gained. Of 11 and third down for Prairie View today, but it looks like they may have gotten into the end zone once again.
Ground pound.
And they are ground.
Our fantasy football this week, we had none other but a big win from Mr. Richard Atiba with a 53-22 win over Mr. Morgan K. Doucette. Man, we appreciate y'all for checking out the fantasy football this week. You know what I'm saying? Hope y'all like the highlights and everything. Richard Atiba, appreciate you for getting the job done in our special homecoming head-to-head matchup. You know what I mean? Man, listen, he gave Morgan the business this week. You know what I mean? Gave Morgan the business this week, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe not next head-to-head matchup. We'll see something else done. You know what I'm saying? So, Richard, you know what I'm saying? Salute to you for the win. Carrie's like, Richard again. Listen. But as someone said before, in the words of that bad man G Boom, it's probably because Brandon didn't fill out a bracket. So I don't know. I ain't say it. You know, somebody else said it. But we'll see, man. But again, thank y'all, man, for always checking out and playing PV Fantasy. You know what I'm saying? I know last week with all the homecoming activities, you know, we didn't have as many check it out as last time. No, we don't throw to our tight ends here. Kerry, we don't throw to our tight ends here at Prairie View. We let them run the ball. We take our tight ends and let them be fullbacks. We do not throw the ball to tight ends here in Prairie View. Listen, we might have to set it up. You know what I'm saying? We might have to set up the head-to-head matchup, you know what I'm saying, next week between B. Lee, you know what I'm saying, and Mr. Richard Atiba. You know what I mean? Also, Elvin didn't fill our bracket either. Elvin been killing it too. You know what I'm saying? We might have to do that. You know what? We might have to do a little playoff, you know what I'm saying, for our last 2 weeks of football. We might, you know what? I think we're on to something. Okay, I think we're on to something. We might take the top 4 contenders during this year, do a little playoff bracket. I think we might have to get that done. You know what I mean? Listen, I don't know the answer to that question, but I ain't seen that man in a while. So, said Elvin can't see me neither. Anyway, let's keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Now, I just want to say this. I know a little while back, I did a video, one of the first videos I did on the channel a while back when we were just getting warmed up. And I did this video about Mr. A.D. Anton Goff. The right man or a big mistake. And shout out to the 1876 Sports and Culture Podcast. Shout out to them, Joe Cleasy, Mike, you know what I'm saying, Al, Shanetta, you know what I'm saying, Ro, all them guys over there doing their thing. They had an awesome interview this past week with A.D. Goff. And listen, I told y'all when I talked about it before on that video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on our page. This guy is a visionary. This guy is accountable. You know how to spell that word? Accountable, right? And when he came on, first of all, I love the questions, right? I love the questions. I love that they were straightforward and asked him some real stuff. And the first thing that you got to notice is he was not scared to answer any question whatsoever. And if you live for any period of time in your life, you will know that individuals who are trying to hide something, individuals who are trying to control stuff, right? Individuals who are just trying to sit in an area, right? You know what I'm saying? Just get their paycheck. Listen, what they don't want is accountability. And what they don't want is to be straight with you. To be completely transparent. But what I heard on this show is what I felt that I heard when I first seen him, when he first came, when he first sat down with President LeGrand, is that this man is going to be straight and this man is going to be there and he's going to be present. And he has been present, period. He's been present. multiple games. I've loved him in the volleyball game, being a color commentator, right? He answered every question straight. That's the first thing, right? Didn't dodge nothing, dodge no questions at all whatsoever. Straight answers. The second thing is he made a statement about the softball field that just hit the nail on the head of why this is the person we need right now. That was two specific things that really show me that, like, this guy is who we need right now at this time. The first thing was the softball field issue. He said, we found out that the softball field is 5 feet too short to be used for an NCAA official tournament, right? And so in order to do that, right, there's a cost to that because we're gonna have to move the scoreboard back, right? It's gonna take some cost to actually deal with that issue. But he said, I don't want to kick that can down the road for another person after me to deal with. He said it wasn't my problem. I didn't do that. But what he said is, even though I didn't do that, I'm here now and I'm going to take responsibility for that, to correct that issue so that we can host SWAC softball championships, so that we can host NCAA tournament games. Come on. It's not my problem. It's not my fault, but I'm going to address it. I'm going to address it in my tenure. That's the guy. That's the guy you need. Somebody who's not going to push it off on someone else. He's going to say, no, we're going to take care of this, people. We're going to take care of this right now, People Nation. And even though he was transparent with all the questions, right? All the questions asked, he didn't dodge any questions. But the other thing I noticed is he had an answer to all the questions because he was prepared and he had already delved into every single issue that they brought to his attention. The parking situation, the parking issue. He let them know, listen, I already been talking to the chief. I already been talking to President LeGrand. We already had presentations where we're talking and trying to figure out how we can get some of the money, especially from when we have games and on game days. He's never seen a situation where athletics doesn't take some of that money. So we know this is a problem, and why is athletics not getting none of that in their budget? He say, listen, I feel you. Legit question. And we're going to figure out a solution so that by next year, we're gonna take care of that, right? We're going to take care of that. When he talked about, right, the issue of the baby dome, right? He was answered straight. Listen, I know there's some sentimental value to some things we have on campus, but if we're going to be a model FCS institution for all of FCS, and listen, we're not just trying to win SWAC championships, we're trying to dominate the SWAC. I love it. Dominate the SWAC and win in the FCS. And so, listen, we're going to have to get on our campus. We need a gym that rivals some of the other stuff we see. And so that could mean a tear down of the baby dome and build back up, or it means we got to build another place, right? Sometimes it's better to just build in a completely different place. But one thing is, like, we can't hold on to sentimental value for the sake of us moving forward to make this program what it's supposed to be, though. That we can't do. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. And so if you haven't checked out that interview, man, go check it out. It was a dope interview. He's been great up to this point, and all the things he's doing, showing up. But like I said, right, he had answers too. He was prepared. He was not unprepared. He knew the shortfall of where we were out top. Like, I'm ready. I don't even need no slides. I know the numbers. I know how many scholarships we are offering, being completely funded in across every single sport, right? So listen, man, he was very transparent, man. And that's what I really, what I'm saying? That's what I really loved about him. Yeah. And he'll let you know with no fluff. The other thing that I love that he said too, before we move on, he talked about having a state of athletics twice a year, in the beginning of the spring, beginning of the fall, right? Having a state of the athletics where he can come on, right, and kind of give a broad scope of the land of where we at, what we have taken care of, and where we need to go. Again, that's accountability, that's transparency. So you ain't got to guess, right? If we need some new stuff to take care of, you're going to lay it out. Hey, this is how much we need to get it done, right? man, that's what you want, right? He also talked about having to ask the AD, you know what I'm saying, where you send in your questions. He'll make a video answering the questions that the alum have about whatever it may be, right? And so, listen, man, I appreciate, you know, this hire that was made, because we need somebody who's going to look at what we have and say, we can be better. We can be better than this. We can dominate the SWAC. We can dominate FCS, and we can be a model for other institutions across the board, right? He also talked about looking at our facilities and saying, listen, these were built 2016, 2017. We got to upkeep them. We got to maintain them, right? And that's what we've been talking about too, right? So I'm just happy he's listening, and he's also noticing the problems, and then he's seeking to address it. So, man, appreciate this guy for being here with PV at this time. So let's get into our 20 questions of the week, sports edition. Of course, if you have a question, check me out on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I don't care, right? At PV_versus_everybody. You can send your questions in there. You know what I'm saying? If you have football related stuff, you know, I got P and none, you know what I'm saying? Angry PV fans, he'll got you, he'll take care of you, you know what I'm saying? Whoever that is, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. But if you got 20 questions, then, you know, send them over there to PV_versus_everybody, and I'll take care of you. But let's get into it, right? First and foremost, who set their homecoming out? Who set their homecoming out? Again, PV, man, listen, you know how we do for homecoming. You know how we get down. It just gets bigger and better every year. You know, so I was so happy to see and hear, you know, about people who came from other schools. I already know we got people from, you know, other universities in the area that come, right? But, you know what I'm saying, some Southernites, right? Some Graham folks, right? Some people from other HBCUs who came through too, so they can get a chance to check out some of that experience. Andre Johnson came and was on the sidelines this weekend too. So big things, man. I think we definitely need to have more people come through who don't know about PV so they can get a taste of this experience. But with that being said, which one of y'all didn't request off on Monday like a season vet? How many of y'all went into work all tired and sluggish because you thought you was going to go on vacation and come back ready for work the next day? That's not how it works. Listen, you got to know that you got to take off some extra days afterwards too, not just before, okay? Got to learn. You'll be ready for next time though, all right? So make sure, you know what I'm saying, you get seasoned. Also, speaking of AD Goff, in that conversation, he said somebody approached him and asked him why we are 6 football coaches short. And he said, I mean, we got a full allotment of coaches. I don't know where you're getting that we are short of any football coaches, right? You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, if you are someone who has heard of that excuse, you can kindly let those individuals know that we have a full allotment of football coaches. And so we're not undercoached. We may be poorly coached at times, but we're not undercoached. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's keep it going. Does the UAPB win have you believing again? Does the UAPB win have you as a believer again? This was, if we're talking about all the games throughout this season, this was the most complete game that I've seen this team play this year, right? We've had spurts on offense at different times. We've had spurts where the front four played well, spurts where the linebackers have played well, but we haven't had a complete game, in my opinion. I think this is probably the first game. Even the Valley game wasn't a complete game. You know, we had some lapses in that game as well. I think this is the first game where I saw we played a complete game across the board, both sides of the ball. So does this game have you believing again? Or do you just chuck it up as, man, listen, it's UAPB. All right? Like, it's UAPB. All right? So I got back to Grand Prairie at 3 a.m., had to go to the gym because I ate too much. I work at home, it was still hurting. So Elvin say we need at least 2 wins in a row. Yeah, I kind of feel you on that, Elvin. You know, it's kind of, you know, we did the same thing with Valley, right? I mean, the same thing UAPB. I mean, at the end of the day, you're happy for the win, but you're supposed to win this game. Now, I will say, like I said, this was a better played game than all the games I've seen before. So hopefully we can keep that going. Hopefully we can keep the momentum. But that's still to be seen. Number 5, can we give a round of applause for the PV volleyball team finishing the year with the winning record? Let's give a round of applause. Coach Lindsay and all those ladies over there. Listen, they're going to finish with a winning record on the season, and they have an opportunity to win the first SWAC championship in volleyball for us since 2006. Haven't won the SWAC since 2006. 17 years. So they have a big opportunity this year to get the job done and win the SWAC. And so we have to give a round of applause, give it up to Coach Lindsay for all she's doing. And yes, she definitely should be Coach of the Year. She definitely should be Coach of the Year this year. That's what we got to wait to see what happens with the postseason awards. But they got a shot to win the SWAC for the first time. First time that PV would have won the SWAC since 2006. They definitely got a chance this year to get it done. On to some basketball, man. Who will lead the team in scoring in the men's game against Seattle University tonight? That game is going to be starting at 9 o'clock. I believe it's 9 Central. If it's not, I think it's 9 Central, I believe, right? But who's going to lead the team in scoring in the men's game tonight? Javante Hopkins led the team against Kansas Christian College. He had 18 points this past game. Orlando Horton also dropped 15. He had 14 coming from Charles Smith Jr. The fourth. I'm going to go with Charles Smith. Hopkins is a real good slasher, man. He gets into the lane really easy. But I think Coach really is making a concerted effort to get Charles Smith the ball and get him the shots. He took 15 shots this past game. I think it's 4 for 15, right? So not a great shooting percentage. But I think that, he's going to shoot a little bit better this game, and I know he's going to get the shot attempts. So I'm going to go with Charles the fourth, lead the team tonight. But we'll see who gets the job done, finishing in second place in year one. Yeah, for the women's volleyball team, Richard just talking about there. And, yeah, Javante Hopkins coming over from Tarleton State, man. A lot of good pickups, but what I was actually excited to see, and I know we're not talking men's basketball yet. We're talking about that in another segment. Matter of fact, I said it for that segment anyway, so let me just keep going. All right, what's your assessment of our PV fantasy football segment? Y'all let me know in the comments, right? First time doing it, right? You know what I mean? I know we did that throughout the year. I would love to hear y'all feedback about the fantasy segment, how we can tweak it to make it better, how we can tweak it to allow PV Nation to have, to again get connected with the football team and what's going on the field, right? Not just the pageantry, but the actual game itself. And so, y'all let me know what y'all feel about the segment, how we can make it better, right? And continue to grow it and continue to connect with more PV Nation and with those who we're trying to get to love the team on the field, right? So y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about that. Let's keep it going. After all that walking, how will the university handle the RV rush next year? Because I've seen multiple comments on the alumni page. You know what I'm saying? I've seen multiple comments on the alumni page of people saying, listen, for all those who get in RVs, how do I get an RV? Because listen, my legs don't work like they used to. So I can only imagine that boys and girls are going to be on it early, for next year. So them RV spots, you thought those spots was picked up quick this year. Man, it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy next year. You know what I'm saying? Said that yesterday's price will not be next year's price. The demand is about to go through the roof, right? So it's going to be easy. They need to create that. I mean, I think you already know and should be seeing that this is about to happen, right? So the university should be already thinking about how to kind of deal with that, right? And how to create that and get that going. And that's why we talk about, going, them coming up with some kind of plan for some of this money to go to athletics. that's big, right? Because think about just homecoming in the RV slots and all that, right? And all the money that's coming in through that. Some of that needs to go to athletics. So I'm happy they're already starting to think about that, right? Said I'm not a PV alum, and I am even considering getting an RV for next year. Listen, it's crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's crazy amount of revenue that that football is not seeing, that the athletic program is not seeing, right? So yeah, man. And are you Richard? You talking about on the fantasy? Don't show who others are starting. So I wasn't even aware of that, right? I didn't even know you could see who others were starting. So that'd definitely be a big thing for sure. You know what I mean? Because obviously you have insight into what other people got going on. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the one-handed no touchdown catch by our boy Metcalf this past weekend? You know what I'm saying? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give it? You know what I mean? Nice one-handed grab. Listen, definitely the best catch we've seen this year amongst all the receiving corps for sure. I don't think we've seen any other catch at all that's even close to that, right? But yeah, man, I'm gonna give it an 8. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was an awesome catch. The defender, you know what I'm saying? I would have given it a higher rating if the defender was in a better position and he contested. You know what I'm saying? But it was an awesome catch, one-handed, right? But I think if the defender would have been in a better position and it was contested a little more, oh yeah, I would have, yeah, it would have went up for me. So easy 10, got a 9.25. Q, are you an engineer? Because that's some engineering type of stuff. 9.25. It's 9.25, right? Got a 9.5. We hardly throw to him. One more weapon we barely use. I give him 9.7. And PV is an engineering school. All these 9.78, 9.25, like y'all down to the minutia here, okay? Like Kerry went even worse, 9.78. Like that's crazy. So speaking of volleyball, there was a time. Oh man, that was funny. So, all right, let's keep it going. So, based on that, right, I got a question, because another thing that, man, I've never met Shanetta, you know what I'm saying, in person, but when I do meet her face to face, I'm gonna have to shake her hand, because a lot of the things she says, it'd be like, listen, it's like you hear my thoughts, it's like you in my brain, right? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes with some of the things that, you know what I'm saying? See, I knew it. I knew. Listen, PV, with all this technicality over here, I know the engineers had to be showing up. So, but listen, Shanetta be saying some stuff that be spot on and be like, yo, you're in my brain right now, right? And so this leads to my next question, right? Does Prairie View have a boring fan base? Because, and I want to say this to say, right? That catch, I mean, we got a 10, we got a 9.25, we got a 9.78, we got a 9.5, right? That's some high numbers for that catch, right? But if you go back and look at the reaction from the crowd after that touchdown, like, where we at? Like, where we at? Like, that, man, that should have made us go bonkers. That should have made us go through the roof. Like, where are we? Where are we? I've seen G, you know what I'm saying? G Boom. Y'all make sure y'all check out his YouTube page, right? Always got some great, some clips of different sporting events and stuff over there on his page. And so I watched a recap of the game, day on his YouTube page. And I'm watching and I'm seeing us play Swamp. And I'm looking in the stands as he's recording, right? Some look like some current students that's up, you know what I'm saying, that's dancing the Swamp. And you probably got 13 ladies in this picture out of probably maybe 200, 300 that's in view of the camera. And only like 13 to 17 is up dancing. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. We're at a football game. We're at a sporting event. And I think she said it well when it's like our crowd it's like we're coming to a performance, a theater, an opera, and it's like we're watching you perform, and it's kind of like, no, this is a football game. Like get into it, get rowdy. So I just asked. I mean, because her statement is my thought. It's like, man, we are horrible. We should have been out. We should have been crazy when we saw that one-handed catch. Man, that same one-handed catch at another HBCU, man, fans going crazy. That one-handed catch at another FCS, white PWI school, man, the crowd going crazy, right? I just think, I mean, I don't know. We just not there. We just not there. It just hurt so much. It really hurt me to my soul. It hurt me to my core. It's like, where we at? That's the time. Yo, that is the time and the opportunity to get into it. Bro, that catch is crazy. I mean, we should have all been like, come on, man. No one cheered on the interception. No one cheered on no defense chant. I've had too many PV alums who are dear friends look at me crazy when I state that I've been a season ticket holder for 3. The band should have been playing after the ref reversed that call. Listen, the band is another. The band is another one that is like, we don't be in tune with the game. We don't be in tune with the game. The one game I saw in the fourth quarter against Valley was when they was like getting to their cheering, but it wasn't them playing. It was just them as band members getting into the game. But it's like after every touchdown, we should be playing. We should have a special chant after every touchdown. When we're on defense, we should have something going, right? That's why I say we need to. I mean, everybody should have pom-poms. We just give them out free, right? And we got certain chants. I just think we got to revamp everything, to be honest. Me personally, I think everything needs to start over. We need to revamp everything and come up with all stuff and say, listen, we're going to build on these traditions here, and then we're going to come up with stuff that's completely new chants. When we start the game, it's a completely new thing. When we go into the fourth quarter, there's a certain song that the band going to play every time, every game. We up by 30, we tied, we down by 30, don't matter. We play this song, and the crowd get into it, but the crowd, we got to do better. Anyway, crowd be into the game. The crowd don't be into the game. I jumped out of my seat and looked around like maybe I was. They made you second guess if the catch was even good, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Let's see. I just sit my normal spot as usual. Yeah, it is a culture issue. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's keep it going. Will we see a repeat performance from the secondary? You know what I'm saying? Will we see a repeat performance from the secondary? Now, when I say a repeat performance, I'm not talking about a 1-yard game. Obviously, that'd be crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? That would be crazy. But will we see a game like this one where the defense and the secondary played extremely well, right? Keeps everything in front of them, doesn't give up any big plays, right? Challenges receivers at the line of scrimmage. Across the board, great game, right? Do y'all think we're going to see that this week from this team? I'm hoping. I'm like Elvin, right? Where it's like, listen, we got to really see, you know what I mean? We really got to see it more than just one game, right? You know, we really got to see it for more than just one game. You know what I mean? Hope so. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. I think that we have an opportunity. I think Harold Blood is not as great as a quarterback that duly think he is. And so, I think we can play well again. I do think we can play well again. I think we have an opportunity to win this game, and we'll see what they do. Now, let's get back to basketball real quick. Plus or minus 2 out-of-conference wins for the Panthers men's basketball team this year? Plus or minus 2 out-of-conference wins for the men's basketball team this year. Do y'all think they can get another 2 out-of-conference wins? Of course, Kansas Christian College took care of that game. Obviously that's a lower division school they played. We also have a North American on the schedule. So the question really is, can we beat Eastern Kentucky, or can we beat a UT Martin? Can we beat a Seattle University? That's really the question, right? Can this team win another out-of-conference game against a D1 opponent? Of course, came close last year, but again, it's a completely new team, completely new ball club. The question for me is going to be on the size, right? This team is a small team, right? It's a very small team. And you're going to go up against some opponents that have size in the middle, right? Size up front, and they're going to have size in the backcourt, right, too, as well. So it's going to be tough to get an out-of-conference win, and especially not shooting as great as we shot this past game. But we'll see. I'm going to say, though, that they get the job done. Byron Smith is a great coach. Man, he knows how to coach this team up. He's done so well throughout the years. And so I'm going to say that this team get an out-of-conference win. They obviously took care of business last year with a big win against Washington State. So I think they're going to get the job done. I got them winning at least. I got them winning probably 4 games out of conference. I think they'll beat North American, of course, and then I think they can take 2 more games. So I got them winning more than 2. He said they're going to pull out more than 2 upsets. I think so too, right? So I got them winning 4 out of conference games. Will Southern score more or less than 21 points this weekend? It seems like they've been stuck on that 20-21. Will our defense be able to hold them to under 21 points? And I think that's going to really depend on, how we handle the running attack from Southern. But I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be really close. I can't say that I trust this team, right, where it's too up and down. We're too up and down. I think it's possible that Southern only scores 21 points, 20 points, right? But I'm going to say they get slightly over 21. But I definitely don't think more than that. But I just can't trust this team. They're too up and down for me to say that Southern will score less than 21. I want to believe it, but I'm going to go with slightly higher. You know what I'm saying? Say less if they run blood, potentially more if they run with a different quarterback. So we'll see. But the good thing is we got a chance against Southern. Okay, with PV needing help to win the SWAC West, who has the best chance of beating Alcorn? Texas Southern or Jackson State? Texas Southern or Jackson State? Who you think has a better chance of beating Alcorn? They got Texas Southern on Sunday, right? So I think that change of schedule helps because, again, it kind of throws the schedule off. Puts people in unfamiliar territory. But the only bad thing is they're going to come into Houston, and there's not going to be any home field advantage for Texas Southern, right? So you think it's going to be Texas Southern, or they have to go to Jackson? I'm going to say that Jackson at home has a better shot of beating them, which I hope that Texas Southern can get the job done. I think it's still going to be a close game against Texas Southern. But if I had to choose one or the other, I'm choosing JSU. Yeah, we got JSU at home. JSU. Okay, Richard got Texas Southern. So you don't think they're gonna lose it all? You don't think they're gonna lose it, drop a game at all? I wouldn't be surprised if TSU gets it done. Said they've been itching for a win and coming close. Yeah, TSU's been close. TSU's been keeping all their games close. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, I don't think Alcorn drops either one of these last 2 games, if I'm being honest, right? But if I had to choose, I would choose Jackson State. It's a rivalry game at the end of the day, and we all know what it is when it comes to rivalry games. Were you aware that 3 Lady Panthers lead SWAC volleyball in hitting percentage, points, and assists. It's just a question, right? Were you aware? Miss Janiyah Henderson leads the SWAC in hitting percentage. Miss Kylie Owens leads the SWAC in points with over 900. And Miss Leah Lawson leads the SWAC in assists. Got 3 ladies at the top of the SWAC in these categories. And so you understand why this team has been doing well and this team has been going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So said it won't be close. So he said at Alcorn, Texas Southern game won't be close. And then Boom says, I want TSU to beat them, but they have been throwing games in the end. So Boom said he also knew about that. I know Boom be on it. You know what I'm saying? So could we possibly win our first SWAC volleyball title since 2006? Talked about this a little bit earlier. I think they can get the job done, be the first one since 2006. You know what I'm saying? You said this has also been the first week that the SWAC really recognized our volleyball players. Yeah, you know, I've noticed that too, because with all these wins we've been racking up, I mean, week after week, I'm not seeing anybody, you know what I'm saying, being recognized as a SWAC player of the week on offense, defense, newcomer, anything. And so I find that very interesting, you know, that, you know, we haven't gotten a recognition like that. But listen, go take your recognition. You feel me? I think that's what Coach Lindsay understands and what she knows. So I think she's going to have those girls ready to go take their recognition. You feel me? All right, which D-line makes the biggest impact on this game? Southern or PV? Which D-line do you think makes the biggest impact on this game? You got 2 quarterbacks who are very up and down. Neither one of them have showed themselves to be great in the pocket, right? And have, you know, made mistakes when they got pressure put on them. So which D-line do you think makes the biggest impact on the game? Also, you're talking about the D-line that can help to shut down the run, that help close gaps, right? You know what I mean? Not allow for the offensive line to open up holes. Which D-line do you think makes the biggest impact in this game? Great question. Do you think Southern changes QBs in this game? I don't think I think he's going to start with Harold Blood. I don't think he's going to change QBs. And the only reason I'm saying he's not going to change QBs because I don't think I think this game is going to be close all the way through. I think this game is going to be close all the way through. And so I don't think it's going to be like an all-corner game to where, you know, they're just getting beat so bad that he's considering pulling him to put in a backup. So I think this game is going to always be in reach for both teams. And so that's my reason for thinking I don't think they're going to switch quarterbacks this game, which I think is better for us because then you deal with the unknown. But yeah, I don't think he switched QBs this game. You know what I mean? You think Richard says he's going to pull him if he messes up early. I mean, unless we come out the gate 14-0, 17-0 or something like that, I could possibly see it then. But other than that, I mean, if it's close throughout the first, second quarter into the third quarter, I think he's going to stick with Blood all the way through. You know what I'm saying? If he ain't pulling for the Alcorn game and that game is out of hand, I don't think he'll pull him in a game that's still within reach. Said PB offensive line. Joe Egg is saying PB offensive line is going to have a bigger impact. All right. Will Trezon have more or less than 15 completions this game? I think this is a good measuring stick, right? When I look at the last game that we just saw against UAPB, 18 of 29 for 305 yards for Trezon Conley. 18 for 29 means that he got the ball to our receivers, to our playmakers, 18 times. Now, if we think about what those plays were and what the result of those plays were, if we think of some of the biggest plays was short passes that went for a lot of yardage, right? Of course, the big 42-yard touchdown pass. We had the big play to Shamar Savage on that broken coverage play for 30-something yards. So those are a couple big plays. But we think about the swing pass to Savage that he took for 15 to 20. We think about the Jenkins pass that he took for 33, right? A lot of these big plays were short passes that went for a lot of yards, which means we get our playmakers the ball more often. And so when we look at this season, only 2 games have Trayson thrown more than 15 completions. The first game of the season, 20 completions against Texas Southern, and obviously he threw the ball 30-plus times. I think he was like 20 for 33 or 35 or something like that, right? And, of course, he was behind, so he had to throw the ball a lot more. But only 20 completions in that game, right? 37 points. Then you got this game with 18 completions. All the rest of our games, he's had less than 15 completions in a game, which means Juice doesn't get the ball as much, Savage doesn't get the ball as much, Spiller doesn't touch the ball, Bloomfield, Cavill, right? I think this is kind of like a benchmark. I think Coach Bubba, Coach Fred need to look and say, we need our wide receivers to at least touch the ball a minimum of 15 times across the board. That could be spread out. That could be 3 or 4 to Juice. That could be 2 to Chris Simmons. That could be 2 to Bloomfield. That could be 4 to Savage. That could be 1 to Cavill. That could be Domel or Murray getting 2, right? Like, but we need our playmakers to touch the ball at least this amount of times. And I think if we can do that, the more completions we have, I think that bodes better because that means our playmakers have more chance to touch the ball. He said more. He has to. Our running back crew is hurt, and he needs to complete some short throws to get them better running lanes. That's a great point, right? And so hopefully, again, we can, go that Willie Simmons route of saying, hey, we're going to use the short passing game to extend our running game, right? Said passer pulling out all the stops of BPV. He might sit blood, but he's stubborn and more likely to keep him in. Yeah, so we'll see, right? Now, 2 questions left real quick. 1, number 19, would this year be a success if the Panthers win their last 2 games but miss the SWAC title game? And again, for all those who are interested, again, as you see at the bottom of the ticker, if anybody wants to jump on and share your thoughts, I know I said it earlier on in the program, saying the call-in number is below if you want to jump in and share your thoughts. But what do you think, man? Would this year still be a success if the Panthers win their last 2 games, but we miss the SWAC title game? If we beat Southern, if we then beat Alabama State at home, but Alcorn State still wins out, would that be a success? What's your thoughts on that? Let's see. Say Caleb Johnson may be coming back this week. Ahmad is a little better too. All right, you still got Young and Brooks. Yeah, Jamarius Brooks has played well. You know what I'm saying? I wish we had Connor Wisham. Obviously, he's been hurt too, right? But it just shows, right, we got a stable of running backs, right? Because Jamarius Brooks, I believe, had, 14 to 16 carries for 84 yards this past game. Blood. And then we also had Trayson Conley run for about 40-something yards. So 189 yards total on the ground. So we still, moved the ball pretty well on the ground. But I do like what G. Boom said at the end of the day and saying, listen, we need to use the short passing game. Said not really because we have a lot better talent. I don't know. I think that's how the season will pan out. Said not if we don't address our play calling in the off season. All right. So Jared says yes, considering we would consider to finish 5th in the West, but no for PB Nation because we have the talent to be in a SWAC championship game. If Alcorn goes when we beat them, then yeah, it's no point out. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna have to say no. We went to the SWAC championship 2 years ago, came back, a lot of the same pieces. Should have been in the SWAC. You should have been in the SWAC championship game 2 years in a row. You dropped the ball at the end of the season and lost the Valley. All right. I will say that I would be happy because if you win the last 2 games, I think what that shows is that you show improvement at the end of the year, which you haven't done that in the last 4 or 5 years. But I don't think you can say the season is a success because you have the team and you have the talent to have went to the SWAC championship game and competed in that game. And so I don't think it's success when you didn't even hit what was a legit expectation for you. And at the end of the day, we had different play calling, different coaching on the offensive end. I think we could have got the job done. So for me, I'm gonna have to say no. And then last but not least, PV wins this game if they do what? So let's get into it. Keys to the game. Let's talk about it, right? From the offense, we just saw it last game. We talked about it with the 15 completion question. Focus on yards after catch. Look, focus on the easy throws. Let's not try to go down the field all the time. Let's look at the drag routes. Let's look at screens. Let's use some slants, right? Let's do what we need to do to get our playmakers the ball in space and let them make plays. We haven't seen at any time that Brian Juice Jenkins get the ball on a screen pass or on a drag route and he doesn't get yards after catch. We haven't seen where Shamar Savage touches the ball and has a chance to make a move that he's brought down by one player. My thing is, why would you not just go ahead and lean into that, right? So focus on yards after catch. Again, no short fields, meaning no turnovers. If you give Southern the ball on short fields, you put yourself in a bad position. If you make them have to drive the length of the field, you're going to have a good chance to win this game. And of course, with play calling, look, we got to mix it up. We got to mix it up, man, and get the job done. Got Southern will run the ball 80% of the time, 20% passes or screens and hitches. People must be sure tacklers and fit their lanes to win this game. Hopefully, we've done pretty good against the run. We can stop the run and keep it going. Said we will complete 15-plus passes. All right, said no turnovers and shorten the penalties. Definitely 80 yards and penalties like game. Limit penalties, turnovers, and make easier passes. Trust our playmakers. Yeah, I think that's what we got to do. On the defensive end, stop the run. Again, I say it every week, get off the field on third down. If you get off the field on third down, get the offensive ball back, right, you get a chance to rest. And then I say it like this. You got to make Harold Blood beat you. Meaning, number one, stop the run. Okay? Make him beat you over the top. It's not that I'm saying you got better DBs and they got receivers, but their quarterback is not the best quarterback that you've seen. And so make him beat you. Make him drive the length of the field by not giving short fields. And I think we'll be in this game and have a chance to win this game. Players to watch, Traylon Conley, he got to show up again this game. He got to make the right reads. He got to make the easy throws and get the ball in playmakers' hands. Megatron Jr., get him the ball again. 8 catches, 136 yards. Get him the ball again. On defense, of course, seatbelt, DeJuan Lewis, got to be a big playmaker. And then Derek Ray Jr. didn't have his best game in the last game at homecoming, but he has to make a sighting again this game because he has to play well up front to create pressure, to put some holes, to plug those holes in the running game so that way they're not able to create those lanes for the running backs. So he definitely got to show up this game. Of course, with Southern, got Harold Blood himself, quarterback, Kendrick Rhymes. Last game, did not do well at all on the ground, and you can understand why Southern lost. I know they probably went away from him super early, too, because Alcorn got up. But the 2 games before that against Bethune and Texas Southern, he had over 100 yards on the ground. That's what Southern wants to do. And so you got to get that guy on the ground and get out the field on third down. Of course, on defense, Jalen Campbell, who's been hurt, hasn't played the last couple games. I'm not sure if he's coming back or not, but if he is, that's the guy you got to watch for Southern, from Southern on the front 7. And then Jordan Carter with 3 picks on the year. Listen, you got to know what he is and make sure you don't give him a chance to take the ball back the other way from Traylon Conley. So score predictions. Drop your score predictions in the chat. Let me know what y'all think this score is going to be. Let me know what y'all think the score is going to be for this week. Score predictions. Do y'all think we come out with the win? Do you think Southern takes it home? What do y'all think? I saw a lot of people saying that Southern wasn't scored over 21 points. So what do y'all got it as? For me, like I said, I think Southern gets slightly over 21 points. I think the game is going to be pretty close throughout. I think the defense plays well, though, but I think they do give up some scores. So I got it 26-23 Prairie View. Yeah, I got it 26-23 Prairie View. Got 31-21 PV, 17-10 from Boom. Joe Egg at 24-20. 24-20 PV from Elvin, 28-21 from Q, 31-21, and then a 28-21 from Jared. Man, yeah. Obadiah got a scoring 30. Richard got a scoring 30. Yeah, man, that would be great. I would love it. If we score 30, then we should beat Southern. Because Southern's not going to be able to put 30 points on the board. 17-13, the good guys, the people in red stick, will get the tar and feathers ready for Dooley. All right, so with that being said, man, let's get into our men's basketball recap from this past game. Again, if you see the call-in number, if you guys want to call in and jump on, 346-306-2017, 346-306-2017. So let's talk about this men's recap really quick. 89-66, they get the dub over Kansas Christian College. Really good game from the Panthers. I loved how much they were pressuring the ball. Of course, getting this team into that offense later in the shot clock. I think that's something that's going to be good for them throughout the year, especially as they, playing some other teams who try to push the pace, or some other teams who have a lot more size, because it's going to get them in that offense a little bit later than they want to be, which bodes well for this team. Because again, like I said, man, one thing that I noticed is that we are very small in the front court. Very small in the front court. I do like Brian Miles' athleticism, super athletic. Javante Hopkins, super athletic. Chris Felix off the bench as well. But what I will say, man, is, we were 4 from 20 from three-point range. 20%, that's not going to get it done. And this Kansas Christian team also didn't shoot well from 3. But they had a lot of open shots, right? There's a lot of open jumpers that I saw looking at the game, man. And you're going to deal with other teams who are going to knock down those shots. They're not going to miss as many threes as this Kansas Christian squad missed, right? And so, one, we got to shoot better from the 3, and we got to defend better, right? Run people off the line. The bad thing about it, though, right, is, you're running people off the line. You really need somebody back there on the back end who can turn people's shot away. Brian Miles is very athletic, right? He did have 2 blocks this past game. But outside of him, I don't think you have anybody who is going to scare anybody as far as coming in the middle. So it's going to be interesting to see, defensively, how we deal again with some teams that's big. But again, this past game, 18-9 for Javante Hopkins. Almost got a double-double in that game. Big game for him. He has a lot of athleticism, man. That guy got some get up on him. Orlando Horton Jr. surprised me, 15.7 rebounds. Surprised that Coach Smith's starting a freshman. You know what I'm saying? First-year player coming straight in, true freshman, getting the start. So that was pretty good, right? Good to see also Chris Felix get some time as well, get some burn. And again, Charles Smith, the 4th, with 14 points on 15 shots. He had 3 rebounds. Brian Miles was 5 for 5 for 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks. So again, he came in, got a double-double in the first game. He's going to have to be big for us because he's really playing that role of a big. And, I really hope he can play well also without getting in foul trouble, because I think that's going to also, cause trouble for us too in some of these games if he's not able to stay on the floor. Got some comments. Let's see. Yeah, I think the offense is coming together. They missed too many open shots. I said, yeah, I agree. Said the same thing. Yeah, size is going to hurt us. I agree, right? So a good thing, though, this game, we did out-rebound KCC 50-24. And this team was, basically around the same size as us, right? So, again, it was good to see that we were, we had a lot of athletes on the team in order to out-rebound this team. But, again, I'm interested to see the game tonight. Again, it's going to be 9 o'clock to see how they go against a team that has a little bit more size. 54-28 points in the paint. That was also great as well. And that was not just like post-ups. That was, we get to the bucket, we slash, we get into the middle of the lane. So they did a great job of getting to the bucket. But again, I definitely would like to see if we can, knock down some jumpers from the outside. So again, we can kind of open up and loosen up the paint because, it's not going to be like it was this first game all the time for us. So next game is going to be on ESPN Plus tonight. Don't have the time here, but that's tonight. I don't know why I have November 11th, actually. That's crazy. It's supposed to be November 8th. Tonight on ESPN Plus at 9 o'clock. So if you got ESPN Plus, check that out. If you don't, maybe I might go ahead and show the game too on the channel. So yeah, you can check that out against Seattle University. We can see how the Panthers do this first game against another D1 opponent. So I think that'll be great. Yeah, 9 p.m. Central. That's right. So yeah, I'll probably come back on and have that playing on the channel too as well, so we can check that game out as well. And then on the 9th, which is tomorrow, the women's team have their first game against Houston Tillotson. It's going to be in the Baby Dome at Prairie View. And so make sure you check that out. That's going to be on the PVAMU Athletics page. They already have it up, so you guys can go on over there, set the notifications so that when the game starts, you can check that out as well. Make sure you support the Lady Panthers in their upcoming season as well. Like I said, we did the preview for the teams. If you didn't check that out, I got the men's preview and the women's preview up. Go through, check that out as well, so you can check out some of the players to watch out, to look for. Because this women's team has a couple players that's coming in that I definitely want to see, how they bowl well and how they mesh together. Because there were some ballers. Again, talk about the big Amari Williams coming over, who was at Vanderbilt in SEC. A top 10 post player in the nation coming out of high school a year and a half ago. So listen, that's a big pickup for them. Of course, Jada is coming over she's coming from Austin Peay. She was at Wright State the first 3 years. Again, that's a big pickup. So again, it's going to be good to see how some of those newcomers mesh with some of the players that's now going to be in their second and third year for Coach Pugh that she's recruited a couple of years ago. So make sure you check out that game as well. But yeah, man, that's it for me. Again, thank you guys for joining the show. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys like. Please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, right, and share with PV Nation so we can continue to grow and we continue to have this space that's all us. Again, if you guys got any comments or any thoughts of some things that we can do, some segments that we can add, or how we can just make everything better, right, and more enjoyable, then always feel free to share it with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm on, YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. So wherever you need to reach me at, right, just reach out and let me know, man. Because at the end of the day, right, we want this to be a space that we all enjoy together with each other, right? So I'm about to go and check out, man. Go get something to drink real quick before this game come on so I can check that out. Hope you guys check it out as well. But if no one else has anything else, or if no one wants to jump on, then we're going to get out of here, man. And again, I appreciate all you for jumping on and checking out the PV versus Everybody live show. And man, let's leave out with, look at that fantasy music, man. You know what I'm saying? I love that Chris Berman music in the background. So until next time, I'll holler at y'all.